Today is a game week review. We're going to review game week 11. We're going to cover plenty of other things. So we're going to cover how my team got on, Morgan Rogers' assist. Was he robbed? I think he was. Drop in the chat what you think. But are we trying to stop, or are we becoming anti-football on FPL? Also, we'll cover the fixtures, international break, what that means for clubs, people who have the best runs, obviously good and bad. The captaincy, can we go against Haaland? I think we can. Sheep, don't be a sheep. Don't follow the crowd. You do what you need to do. We're going to look at form overview. I'm quite big on the form of teams this season. What teams are going to play better soon? You know, what teams are up and coming? And what teams we've kind of forgot about, namely Nottingham Forest. We'll also do a Q&A, and then we'll finish off with a game week 12 bus team. But for the morning, thank you very much for joining me. I know there's other pods on tonight, so thanks very much for joining me. We've got plenty in already. We've got Collins in there, Eddie's in there, Big Combs in there. Great to see you all. But listen, we're just going to start. We're going to get into it. I thought the graphic was very, very good. It stirred debate is what it did. First, before we start is, listen, we're doing fantastic. The show's doing fantastic. Me and Kieran are absolutely loving it. So if you do like anything, you do enjoy anything you see tonight, please do give us a wee like, give a wee subscribe. Yeah, the more we can subscribe, the more we can interact with you guys and girls. Another one as well on FPL Podcast. Kieran was on there last night, so make sure you go and check it out. It was a really, really good show, looking at Game Week 12 and plenty of other things as well. So make sure you go across there, FPL Podcast, follow Gary and the gang, give him a like, give him a sub, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Eddie's put a wee question in there in the chat. Just put them in the chat, and I'll answer them near the end, or typically I answer them as I go. So Eddie, I'll do that one shortly, mate, but I'll star that for now, okay? Right, first thing we do, we're just going to go into the games. So game week 11, I've done pretty well. 52 out of 38. It could have been more. It could have been more, and it should have been more with the Morgan Rogers assist. 52 points all out. Average was 38, so that wasn't too bad. I was happy with it. I did make 3 changes that week, actually. So I didn't want to use all the changes, but I thought, do you know what? I'll make them all because I wanted to, basically, and I thought I could do with them. So I took out Porro, I took out Gordon, who had a nightmare, and I also took out Richarlison, and I put in Chalobah, Rogers, and Pedro. And if it wasn't for the Dubious assist, they would have all returned. But listen, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, like Meatloaf says. Terrible at singing, as you can clearly see. However, we'll cover the team. So I had Vicario at the back. Oh, yeah, I wasn't too happy about playing him, but you know, he's been playing well recently. He's been getting save points, and Spurs, you never know. They could get a 0-0 or a 1-0. It wasn't to be this week, but hey. Gabriel 1-pointer. Everyone's got him, so it didn't really affect anything. Chalobah with a 6. That was good. I brought him in. I think, just turn this down a wee bit, I think Chalobah, Chelsea defence can still be a bit ropey, and I was watching that game. And yeah, at times I was a little bit worried, but hey, we managed to do it. Double Palace defence coming in as well for 3 out of 5. Returning there at the back, 6-6. Whoa, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. The defence done well, but the midfield didn't really. Gakpo, Eze, and Rogers. I actually started Reinders, who didn't play. I was a bit frustrated about, City did score. They scored 3. I did think it would be 3-0, 3-1. And I thought Rogers. I thought Reinders could have got something. Unfortunately, he didn't play. Yeah, it was a bit frustrating. But listen, it was the Doco show, wasn't it? It was the absolute Doco show. But yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. But nonetheless, my bench came in. And Gakpo's not a bad player normally to bring in, is he? So Gakpo came in. And then up top. Let's talk about up top, ladies and gentlemen, because everybody is going away from Pedro. Everyone was going away from Pedro. And I didn't really understand why. I didn't get it. When you play Burnley, you do not take a player out, right? I know he's not played very well. And listen, I admit in the game he didn't play the best. He did have a glorious chance just outside the box. He had time and he dragged the shot wide. Didn't do much with it. his positioning in the 10 position is best, and that's why he got his goal. A ball got put into the box, it came out, popped out to him, and on the edge, just inside the box, he smashed it in. So yeah, listen, right place, right time, and hey, it paid off. Thankfully, it did pay off. Com says in the chat, a few others got rogered this past game week. They did, mate. They did. Thank you, Colin. This game's on just now. Eze scores for England. Get in, Eze. So he's my team. He didn't really do much, but listen, if you're scoring international goals, soon the goals for Arsenal will come. Geddy's in the chat. Nice to see you, big man. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, back to the team. I was happy with the game week 11. On the bench, that's what's there for. I didn't play Senesi because I was one of those few who actually seen the Villa win come. Bournemouth have been terrible away. They've conceded now, in the last 3 games, I'm pretty sure they've conceded at least 3 goals. So away from home, they're not the best. At home, yeah, they're still decent. It's a hard place to go, Bournemouth, even for the big clubs. But away, they're a little bit of a mess, and they've not quite, they used to be quite solid away from home. But yeah, listen, they're trying to get more points, and they're trying to get more goals, and ultimately that's always going to happen. But listen, 52 points, 38. I was 1.1 million. It got me up to 764,000, so that's good. I'm catching up with Kieran. Wade's in the chat as well. Wade, good evening, mate. Fantastic to see you. While you're all in here, ladies and gents, if you could just like the stream, that'd be fantastic. Always helps. The wizard behind the cloak of the algorithm, and then we can interact, which is what we're going to do. Drop any questions below, and as I'm going along, I'll just answer them. Usually wait till the end, but I'll just answer them, baby. So yeah, that was the team. It wasn't the biggest scoring game week, was it? But listen, when you get in a green arrow of about 300k, it's pretty good. And I had 5 green arrows in a row, 1 red, and I'm back to the green. So listen, it's all good. It's all good. And like I said, some questions, put it below, or I'll just answer them on the way. So Colin said, best option, mate. Senesi to Virgil van Dijk, Pedro to Thiago, or Paqueta to Mbuemo. Pedro to Gueye. Pedro has to fund both move option 0 in the bank, 2 freeze. Can you just clarify that, Colin? Sorry, mate. I just didn't know what you meant. If you just clarify that, we will answer that, puppy, mate. Don't you worry. A lot of people are kind of thinking about Senesi. Listen, I've got so much value in him. I'm not going to drop him. I'll keep him, but I'll be very wary about when I'm going to play him and when I'm not going to play him. And that's the key, really. Now, listen. Ladies and gents, let's come to the crux of the show. Yeah, we're doing a game week 11, but essentially we're talking about Morgan Rogers being robbed. It's outrageous. And these are the rules, right? So let's have a little gander through the rules, right? Let's go shots and rebounds. If a goal is scored directly following a save, block, or a shot rebounding off the woodwork, an assist is awarded. Now let's talk about that first, right? Because a shot that hits a post on the crossbar is in fact a shot off target. That's a fact. It's a shot off target. So you still get an assist for a shot off target. Should you be given it? I don't think so, but that's what happens, right? The shot does not have to be on target to result on an assist. I mean, it's a little bit outrageous, isn't it? So you don't have to have a shot that's going on target. It can come to another player and you'll still get the assist. It's a little bit frustrating, isn't it? The action leading to the save, block, or rebound can be a shot or a cross. Deflections on a shot before the save, block, or rebound do not cancel out the assist and remains a player to score from the rebound. So, if we go back to passes, when a deflected pass is received inside the penalty area, an assist will be awarded if the recipient is the goal scorer. Okay, so it's standard. Do you know what I mean? So it could be a huge deflection. As long as they get it and they're in the penalty area, they get it. When a deflected pass is received outside the penalty area, an assist will only be awarded if the intended target of the pass is the goal scorer. Now, in here lies the issue, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Intended target. Now, unless players are standing a hell of a long way distant from themselves, how do you know who was the intended target? How do you know? And really, if we're talking about it, if someone has a pass and it doesn't go to someone in the box, but it comes outside the box, arguably, if he finishes it, that's a harder goal to score. So that's the first thing. We're taking away from football. We're becoming a little bit anti-football in FPL just now, right? The other issue I have is we've kind of got two standards of rules here. Point of note is Declan Rice, right? Declan Rice the other day, he took a free kick. He floated it into the box. There is no intended target because he's just generally popping it in there, isn't he? He's generally floating it in that box. There's not even an intended target. What happened the other week? It got headed out slightly, or it came, a deflection came off, and Gabriel headed it in. So Rice gets the assist for that. But we are not then going to give an assist for Morgan Rogers, who had their right back on absolute toast, nutmegged them, went past them, crossed it, and because it took a slight deflection, we're not going to give him the assist. Which, by the way, it was a fantastic goal from Onana. So we'll give the random goal for Rice because he just generally pops it in the box, but we're not going to give it to Rogers for a fantastic field of play. Is that right? And this is my issue. I was a little bit more heated at the time. Now I've calmed down. It doesn't look like it, but now I've calmed down. And listen, yeah, it's not that deep. It's 3 points, all right? Ultimately, it's not. But what my issue with it is, we're becoming anti-football and we're taking away from the game. That's the issue. So we'd rather just have someone float it into the box randomly, not even to someone who'll get an assist to get 3 points. It's not a reflection of football. And when we're trying to when we're trying to choose alternatives and players, e.g. for me, Morgan Rogers, I went Villa. It's between Watkins and Rogers. To not get an assist like that or any points for that, it's frustrating. So I think what they need to do moving forward is they either need to level the playing field, they either need to level it, or they just take it away. Do you know what I mean? So if there's a slight deflection and it's outside the box, then it still counts. Or just take it away. Just take it away. They have to level that playing field. And people want to talk to me about, there was a lot of content creators. There was a few content creators that did bring it up. Big content creators, and kudos to them. But most of them didn't, and that's because they didn't own Rogers. I mean, for one, let's get this straight, ladies and gentlemen. If that's a Salah, if that's a Haaland, that's given. And we know it is. And it's not like this kind of conspiracy. I'm not saying that at all. Because by the rules, it is. But, it's not the biggest deflection. And we're just kind of taken away from football. Which is frustrating. It is frustrating. Now, what I want to come to on here, right? And I just want to give you, by the way, Ireland have just beat Portugal, so they've got more chance of winning now. But what I just want to highlight here, ladies and gents, right? If I can get this up, is the degree in which that pass changes. Okay? So we got the degree in which it changes. I mean, it doesn't really change much. So where that arrow is, technically, is where Morgan Rogers is, slightly to the side. Now, that ball, let's look at those two arrows I've put in there, ladies and gentlemen. That ball is coming to Buendia here. You could even argue that arrow is slightly high. All right, it could probably come down a little bit. And look at where the ball actually goes. Now, when Morgan Rogers does exceptionally well, nutmegs the defender, has him on toast, looks up, how does he know that we're not going to Onana? He's literally standing behind Buendia. And that's the frustrating thing. It's a little bit like VR, isn't it? It's down to how you interpret it. And we need to get rid of that. So there's absolutely no discrepancy. Because it does ruin the game a little bit. It does. And he's in here now. He's coming here for the best bit. His other half of double pivot. It's Kieran. He said, calm down. I actually am quite calm. I'm just a passionate guy, Kieran. I'm a passionate guy. And what my point is, I was talking to Kieran earlier on, and we're becoming a little bit anti-football. Do you know what I mean? Like, people argue VR is. They're becoming a little bit anti-football. And it's a little bit frustrating. I mean, listen, in the long run, is it a big deal? No, but you never know. 3 points. It could have been bonus points. It could have been another 4. And when it comes down to the end of FPL and someone wins FPL, which ultimately will be someone, that could have stopped them from winning it, or that could have made them win it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we need to just have a little bit more transparency. the other day, I think Andrew Nightmare, FPL Nightmare, Andrew, he brought up that the fantasy account was kind of rubbing it in people's faces that they lost a clean sheet and stuff like that. And I kind of get that because it brings with it a lot of clicks, right? But this kind of thing, they need to answer quite quick. And that's what people get a little bit frustrated about when they're not getting answered. Something like that, they should come out. Instead of like ripping people for losing a Senesi clean sheet, they need to come out and just answer these quick. And that was the only thing. But listen, 2 of the 3 players I brought in, fantastic. And I felt a little bit hard done by, chat. Put in if you thought I was a little bit hard done by, because many people thought, Villa was going to be close. I mean, I still thought it'd be close, but I thought 2 or 3 nil by Villa. And it was. And for, if you said, right, Aston Villa are going to win 4-0 and Rodgers and Watkins aren't going to get anything, you'd be like, that's outrageous. Nah, sorry, I don't believe you. It just wouldn't happen. So, again, the decision was correct, but the outcome was not. And that's just FPL sometimes. Do you know what I mean? That's just what happens. But, we move, don't we? We move on. Cameron's just jumped in, mate. Good to see you, Cameron. IBK. Rodgers was robbed. Yes, IBK. Let's discuss this. Well, you've missed it. We have just discussed it. But, yes, I think he was robbed as well, mate. It might be 3 points, but it meant so much more. When sometimes you're going out with someone and you go, oh, no, it's not what you said, it's the way you said it. That's kind of Morgan Rodgers. It's not about the 3 points. It's how he didn't get it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, all in all, it was good. Let's see what Giddy's saying. I saw your post, Shane, and I thought Rodgers had 2 assists. Yeah, so this is the thing, actually. So the Premier League, he's got me back on this. The Premier League, the X channel, they're very, very quick to go and look, someone's lost a clean sheet or someone scored or whatever. But for some reason, they gave Rodgers the first assist. Now, I was listening to it on the radio and Buendia had it. So, I don't know if they've done that to kind of cover the tracks a little bit and like, I've just given this guy an assist. I think what they need to do, and this is a bit of a lesson for Fantasy Premier League, is they need to confirm before they put on here. They need to double and triple check before they put on. Because quite often, someone's been given an assist and it's not happened. Or, when a goal's come and there's no assist given, just wait. Why don't you just give it 5-10 minutes, confirm, and then do it? Like a VAR. But hey, we're all human. IBK says, can we trust Buendia will get consistent minutes though? No. He raises a great point here, IBK. And I want to be, I'm scouring through the videos and I will find it. I think I said maybe in the first game week or maybe the second, I said, right now, nobody wants Buendia, but at some point, people will want him. And luckily, that came true. Like Kieran says, a broken clock's right, a few times a day. And yeah, I mean, I'll take that. So yeah, Buendia at the start, he kept changing midfield. He was in and out of injury, but if he can get a run of games in there, IBK, I think he's a good player. And he was when he went on loan last year, and he came back, and that was a big thing for me. And Villa being a lot better. But yeah, I think Kieran's hit the nail on the head. Actually, while he's in the chat, he said no, he won't be consistent minutes, IBK, but he feels like he will score no matter the minutes. Yeah, he's doing really well just now, and I think he is securing that team. But moving forward, he's maybe not secure. I think he is because he's been a big part of Aston Villa's revival. A big part. So for now, he can. I mean, if you got transfers, yeah, go for it. I think depending on what your team is, always team dependent. But yeah, we can't overly trust him, can we? Proj, how you doing, big man? He says, evening, shame. Damn unlucky about Rodgers. Thank you, Proj. Thank you. It means a lot. Those points do add up. They do, mate. And we're so close, those 3 points. I mean, I'm like 750k. Those 3 points would probably put me to about... I'd probably be beating Kieran. Yeah, I'd probably beat Kieran probably about 30k. No, obviously it's not that much, but yeah, it's 3 points. It still means a lot. Wade is reposted. Thank you very much, Wade. You absolute legend. I'm trying a new feature out today where if you're watching on YouTube or mobile, it flips it for you. This technology stuff, ladies and gentlemen, is fantastic. And yeah, if you are liking the content, give us a little like, give us a little subscribe. Right, now, what I want to talk about just now is fixtures. So what PR, during the international breaks, it gives us a little bit of time to chill, relax, take stock of what's happened, and prepare our plan and moving forward. All right? So at the moment, this is set up for 10 game weeks. This is through Fantasy Football Scout. Fantastic. I'm not sponsored one, by the way, but I've used it since I started playing FPL. Whenever that was, years and years ago. At the top of the ticker, this is sorted for difficulty, but at the top is United, Liverpool, City, Palace, and Newcastle. Bournemouth and Burnley are both up there as well. Obviously, Bournemouth you want to look at. Burnley, not really. Those on the down one is Arsenal, West Ham, Aston Villa. So they've still got good fixtures, but after that, they kind of don't come into a good run of fixtures. But yeah, difficulty-wise. But again, this is why I do the fixture decoder, because a lot of these are green or red, and that's very not. No, I was going to say bipolar. That's not very bipolar, but that's very opposite scales of the spectrum. There's no kind of in between. Okay, there's a white, but only 3 structures. I don't think it's enough, and that's why I do the fixture decoder, because quite often it'd be fantastic. And I've spoke to Andy, FPL Mode. I know there's a different tab, so you can sort it for attack and defence. But if we could split these down, so you can have a look at Man United v Everton game week 12. If we could split that into half for attacking and defending, that would give us a much better idea, holistic overview. And we could have a look, right, attack, bam, bam, bam. Oh, that's brilliant. I want attack, I don't want defence. Whereas if we are at the moment looking at Man United v Everton, it's light green. Maybe those that kind of play the game recreational, they'll go, right, I have to get Man United players in. But, you just want Man United attackers. I mean, you might start maybe looking at defenders soon with West Ham and Wolves. Maybe even the goalkeeper, he's playing really well. But do you know what I mean? That would be a really, really good fixture. A really good feature for us, I think. And it'd help us. And it'd help the recreational players. Would that be good for the people that usually do it? For us engaged managers, I don't know. But it would make it more combative, more competitive. Do you know what I mean? Right, so what I'm going to do on here, we're going to do a little bit of a live bit. Here. Is we don't want that face on there. Is we're going to go with Fantasy Football Scout, and we're going to have a little gander, right? So this is set up for 10 game weeks. Okay, keep in mind up to, I think, game week 18, 19. Well, up to 19, you've got to use your chips. So make sure you get them within that. If not, you miss out. For me, I've got bench boost. So I want to kind of, it's difficult because in this period here, 16, 17, 18, or 15, 16, 17, 18, that's when the really, really busy December schedule is. And rotation will be a bit of a nightmare. So if I can use it 13, 14, that'd be good. But listen, I've been really chilled with it. I mean, when the time is right, you will know. A bit like the Karate Kid. Yeah? Either that or just absolutely cream it, one or the other. But nonetheless, let's sort this out for difficulty. All right. Sort by difficulty, and that's for 10 game weeks, right? What I want you to see here, and this is what I've gone on the live portion of it, all right? I want you to see the teams that have got the best fixtures for the next 10, then the next 8, and then the next 4. Paul, thanks for joining us, big man. Great to see you. Just in time, we're just doing fixtures, mate. Just doing fixtures. So at the moment, Man United, Liverpool, Man City, Palace, and Newcastle, they're up there. I mean, look at these fixtures. They're fantastic. Do you know what, though? I would say Liverpool, right? I know a lot of people are going for Liverpool players. I had Van Dijk, took him out for about 4 or 5 weeks ago for Gabriel. Never looked back. I'd be a little bit careful. I would be a bit careful. And we will come and chat to him in a minute about form. But, the teams they're facing, they can still score goals. Forest, West Ham, Sunderland. All right, they can still face goals. So I think it's, just be a little bit careful on that. That's my thought. But anyway, look at United. It's making me want Bruno or Mbeumo. At least maybe an Ahmad, people have been talking about. Especially with Sesko out now. How are they going to set up? Who are they going to put in the number 9? That's going to make it, it's going to make it good, exciting for us. New players we can choose from. City are good. They've got Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland. A decent run there, even though Sunderland are playing well. Palace. We've seen, and I've done a big feature the last wee while about how Palace are going to have a bit of a dip. And I think this is the start of their dip. I mean, they drew 0-0 the other day. Listen, there's nothing wrong with drawing 0-0 at home. They were leggy. They were tired to a Brighton. but it's going to catch up on them. And it might catch up again around, this Christmas period. They've only got a small squad, so you kind of got to watch out for that. What I would say as well on this, even though Man City have got Sunderland around this game week, people will be going to AFCON soon. So, 7, 8 of their players are going. So this could be a fixture now to focus on. Elsewhere, there's nothing really too much to shout about. Again, you've got the Forest up there. I was speaking to Tom Hadley, I think it is, and we were chatting about Forest players the other day, and we're like, did we go too early? I mean, I liked Anderson, who obviously got a penalty, which was good. I think Chai had him, so big up Big Chai because he actually made the move. I thought about going early, but when I'm making three moves, I don't want to take a -4 for a fourth. But they're not as bad as what we thought, and we'll come on to that with form as well. Fulham, listen, implosion, so don't go there. And elsewhere, there's nothing really to shout about. Arsenal there, but listen, they'll just peter along. What we're going to do is we're going to reduce this down, okay? So at the moment we've got United, Liverpool, City, Palace, and Newcastle. Let's reduce this down to 8 game weeks. Okay, so not much different. You've got Liverpool, United, Palace have moved up one. Man City are still there, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Arsenal. Arsenal seem to have a much better run in the next 8, okay? And there's some fantastic fixtures up here. What we'll do is we'll further put it down to 8, all right, instead of 4. And that's what I've been doing this season a little bit, is not looking too far ahead as last year. FPL Hippies in the chat. Good to see you, big man. Yeah, I've not been looking too far out this year. Usually I'd maybe go a medium term, kind of like 4 to 8 game weeks. I've drawn that down this season for the opportunity to try and raise that rank and kind of going 2 to 6 game weeks, on average about a 4 game week window. And that's why I brought this down to 4 game weeks. Because really, we always project out, and yes, you want those players that are going to do you well in the long term. But for this run of games, we can hopefully identify players that are going to do as well for the 4, the 8, and the 10 game week. The ones that we're looking at, again, look, Liverpool, Palace, United, and Bournemouth. So at the 4, 8, and 10 game week, they've all been within the top 5, and City. So really, we need to be starting to morph our team, change our team to have a lot of these players. Now, arguably, Palace. Most people probably tripled up, if not double up. United, maybe 1. No Brighton, or not many, maybe 1. Bournemouth, I would say we've got at least 2. And City, maybe 1. So what this says to me is we need to start looking at getting Liverpool players and City players. But with that, there's rotation everywhere. We've got Pep Roulette, which is fine, but now we've got a little bit of slot roulette. How is he going to fit everybody in? Obviously, when Salah goes, that's going to free up a place. But, Wart started the other day on the left, and he actually probably had his best game of the season so far. So what does that mean for Gakpo? I'm a Gakpo owner, so I'm not, biased in that respect, but he's probably the best option moving forward. Ekitike, if he starts up top, he is going to play well, but he's going to have to start playing the £130 million Isaac soon. So that's the issue. But what we'd say is definitely start moving to Liverpool and City assets. Listen, everybody knows that. I'm not teaching you to suck eggs, but we always forecast this. I'm a very kinesthetic person. I like to see it on paper to then take action from that. So the players I'm kind of looking at here is Liverpool. Jury's out on it. The jury's out on it, and I wouldn't be looking at defence. I'd probably be looking at attack. I've got Gakpo. I'd maybe take a punt on Ekitike, maybe Isaac if he starts. You know what? See if I had a free hit and maybe he came into a bit of form as Verts. Maybe. Very maybe. People got Salah. Listen, I get the Salah, but he's too expensive. He is too expensive, isn't he? And I can't spend all that money on that individual. Palace, listen, they've got Wolves and Burnley in the next 3. So I have no attackers from Palace. That's something that I think I'm going to have to do. And they've got Wolves at the weekend. It's not that I don't rate Mateta, right? I just don't think he's as good as a lot of people are saying. 2 game weeks ago, they were saying, his essential was Haaland and moving for him. So I'm going to have to get an attacker either way. United, I need Mbeumo or Bruno. Bournemouth, attacking wise, I don't know. I've got can we get Evan Nielsen in? I don't know. Are they playing that well? I didn't have Semenyo. I took him out 4 game weeks ago when everyone was like, not he's essential, but he's playing very well. You can't take him out. Took him out, and luckily it's been the right call. Now I want him back in. West Ham, Sunderland, Everton, Chelsea. Now I have to get him back in. But yeah, that just kind of gives you an overview of fixture wise. All right, and you need to cast out. Don't cast out too far. I think this season, don't cast out more than 8 games because you'll lose points in the short term. Do you know what I mean? Just a few questions in here, a few points to add. Prod said, strong rumour Slot is going to change the formation up after international break. So again, I don't jump too quick. If you've not made transfers this international break, don't. If you're a bit new to the game, make them closer to the time. And this season, we've got a lot of money. There's no Salah, Haaland double up, really. You've got a lot of money. So you can afford to wait and drop a bit of value, all right? He said, might be worth just seeing how they line up next 2 weeks. Yeah, that's what I would say. Especially people come back from international break with injuries. They line up different. People are going to get a rest, especially South American players, your Brazilians. Just wait and take your time. All right, so all you got to do. Wait and take your time, baby. But that's the fixtures wise. Anyway, you're going to like this. You're going to like this, ladies and gents. Up next, it's the man, the myth, the legend. It's the robot. And this brings me on to a bit of captaincy. Can we beat the robot? Can we beat him? I mean, yes, we can. Yes, we absolutely can. And I've been thinking this over the weekend and everything like that. How do we beat him? Now, it's difficult, and you've got to choose your times wisely. I think if you are going to go against them, it has to be an away game. City have to have an away game. Don't do it at home because the guy could score 3 goals in 3 minutes. Okay, we all know that. I mean, you could do that away, but it's about it's against the right team. The next game is up against Newcastle. And you would think Newcastle are quite good defensively, but listen, I don't know, a few injuries here and there. Eddie Howe's kind of changing some players, and I think he's trying to make a point about they don't have enough players for Europe. And Europe's having an effect. Every time they play midweek and then, in Europe and play the weekend, they're never as good. They aren't. And they've not scored many goals. Okay, they've not conceded many, but, it takes one goal to win a game. And I think he could do damage against Newcastle. I really could. So I don't know if I go against them. It's not fully set. I mean, you got like Saka and stuff like this, but there is options away. And can we beat the robot? We absolutely can. All right, we can. The only two things, the two main points from me, I was just thinking how to sum it up, how to surmise it, is it's unsustainable, his numbers. He scored, I think he scored another 2 tonight for Norway. And I think it's just unsustainable. He can't keep going. If he keeps going like this, I think he's going to get like 40 points or something like this. So I just don't think it's sustainable. Other options, I think other options have become revealed soon. And what I mean by this, our game, every game week to game week, that's how we play the game. And an option always jumps up that we didn't think of, and usually I think the key is midfield. That's where the most of the points are going to come from. Defense wise, it's one goal could ruin that. It takes 4 points out and bonus points. So midfield's the key. It has to be a midfielder. It has to be captainable. I'm talking Saka, Bruno, maybe Mbuemo, a Semenyo, that kind of thing, all right? So we absolutely can beat the robot, but it has to be in the right weeks. And is this the week to go at Newcastle? I don't know. I know it's at St James's Park and it's a tough game, but I just don't think so. A few in the chat. Animations, good to see you. Colin Johnson says, going Saka in 12. Got to take the opportunity. Yeah, I like that. We have to get that rank, we have to. And listen, you get an extra point for a clean sheet, extra point for, a goal. And they add up. And in the bonus points, you do get more for midfield. Penalty takers. We've not had many penalties this far. I don't think Haaland... Oh, actually, tell a lie. Haaland had one, and he missed it, obviously, last week. But more will come in. As players become tired, they're playing international, they're playing Europe, there's going to be more mistakes and there'll be more penalties coming. So absolutely start getting those penalty takers in. And that's why Bruno worries me. He worries me. FPL Hippie says, I've taken a -12 already. I like it. I salute you, sir. Good luck. Team value 104.1. Well, cast me aside, Hippie. Jesus, I don't think I've ever had 104.1. I think I'm about 102, something like that. So fantastic on there. Prod says he's worth taking on in the trickier away games like Newcastle, probably even with Big Dan Burn missing. Yeah, I don't know. I have to see how Newcastle or the players are when they come back, because listen, they're getting a little bit tired at the back now. You know, Trippier's playing more games. Dan Burns playing a lot of games. Dan Burns is a good player, but you know, we're very reactive. He's good, but he's limited. Let's get this right. You know, Dan Burn is limited. And listen, he's still a fantastic player. He's a Premier League player. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, he could have his pants pulled down a little bit by that. Animation says Joe Linton is a big miss for Newcastle. Do you know what? I think he is, but I watched him the other week, mate, and he did not play that well. He didn't play. He kept giving the ball away. And in fact, Newcastle didn't play that well the other day. They gave the ball away about 3 times in 2 minutes. So I couldn't understand it. Yeah, the Pope shout, animation shout. I never liked the Pope. I never liked the Pope Newcastle. And yeah, they've kind of gone down a little bit, haven't they? They're not, you know, again, that wasn't sustainable. To keep those clean sheets, that wasn't sustainable. And we did see that. Animation says, yeah, agree on the captaincy will be interesting. As you're listening, guys and girls, just give us a wee like, give us a wee sub. It all makes a difference as we move on. And this is what I kind of want to highlight. We can absolutely beat Haaland. Now, I looked the other day, and this is quite an insane stat. Haaland has never been the top goal scorer this season at all in the game week. That's mental. That's mental, isn't it? So if you look back, and that kind of, a lot of people were quite taken aback by that. You know, these are the top players of the game weeks. What do we notice about these? They are all, let me just double check. Yeah, they're all defenders and midfielders. There's not one striker on there at all. And I think midfielders just edge it out, but still, you've got defenders. You know, 17, 24, 15. Who else? We've got Alderete, James, Gusto. Gusto, by the way, is such a bad player. But yeah, that's the point. There is time, absolutely, to go against. The only issue is, I mean, how many people captained these individuals in these game weeks? You know, likes of Guehi, Zubimendi, Stack, James, Gomez, Gusto, and probably even Van de Ven. No one's capping. The only people really realistic there was Semenyo in game week 7, maybe Alderete in game week 6 because he's been playing really well, but even then, probably not. And Timber. I've seen a few people that triple captained Timber in game week 2. They must have known. I think they'll be playing the lottery this weekend. But this just shows and highlights, guys and girls and team, that there's opportunity to go against. And as we move forward, more midfielders will be coming on that list, and even a striker or two. Yes, that will probably mean Haaland, but in the right fixture, you can get away with him. Geddy says, Ballard, what a baller. Yeah, Ballard the baller. He is, mate. He is. Let's do some questions while we're here. Eddie says, would you do a -4, Tarkowski and Enzo out to get Van Dijk and Mbuemo in? Team, help along. You help along as well. It's always good because we're a team here, but I don't like that. I'm probably against the rest of the group because a lot of people getting Van Dijk. I wouldn't. I like the Mbuemo in. I don't really like the Van Dijk. Paul says 2 free transfers might roll to 3. One Mbuemo. I Bruno, no point in a sideways move. Yeah, exactly. There's not. But this just shows, again, look, there's opportunity to go against Haaland. Right. Everyone like this graphic? Fantastic. Fantastic graphic. This is a Scottish sheep, if you hadn't realised. It is actually a Scottish sheep, and he's wearing a scarf, so he's a double Scottish sheep. But the issue I want to put on here is don't go with the crowd just to be a sheep. You know, kind of in human nature, you want to be part of a group. You want to be part of something. I mean, we're part of the FPL community, best community on X by far. But, you know, people they find solace in each other. And to go out on a wing, you know, is quite It's hard. It's difficult. Now, for instance, me, I've made quite a few mistakes this season, as we all do. I've held on to players for far too long, and it's not worked out. However, the ones that I have, likes are Semenyo. Semenyo, I took out 4 game weeks ago because I didn't think his numbers were sustainable, and Krupi was starting to play a little bit better. Clivert was coming back, and luckily, touchwood, that paid off. Another one was the Pedro Mateta debate. Mateta's a good player, yes, but people talking about expected goals ahead of Haaland. Are we really saying that Haaland is on the same level as Mateta? No. And listen, the guy got a call up for France. He is a good player. He's a Premier League player. He's a fantastic striker, but he's nowhere near the likes of Haaland. So I think we need to have a bit of a rain check sometimes and make your own decisions. This week, I got Pedro in and he scored. I got Pedro in, whereas people were taking him out. So, yeah, make your own decisions. And that's what FPL is about. I think realistically, we're going to win it. Nah, we're not going to win it realistically. But it's those gut feelings that go, I just know he's going to do something. And everyone's telling me to do this, but I don't want to do it. I don't think that's going to happen. That's my process a little bit. I look at the games. Me and Kieran, that's what we do. We look at the games. We break it down, team matchups and player matchups, and kind of how that fixture is going to end up. And that helps us work into, what player to choose, what player to not. It's kind of a little bit like life. We're getting a bit deep, team, but life can only be lived in forwards, but only makes sense in reverse. Do you know what I mean? And that's a little bit like FPL. If you look back and go, yeah, I would have seen that coming. Yeah, I would have seen that coming. And yeah, that's all I would say is don't be a sheep. Make your own decisions. Listen, doesn't matter if you use Solio or Review or all this kind of stuff. They're tools, they're aids to assist you. But you make sure you use your noodle. You make your final decision. Don't let any system or AI or program or anyone else make your decision. You do it for you. I thought it was quite good. But yeah, and that's what I do every week, really. I just make my own decisions, baby. Proj, yes. Let's talk about... And Proj, be like Proj in chat. He says, not just FBL chat, but some philosophy as well. Yeah. Confucius. Yeah, that's who said that. Confucius. So yeah, that's good. Right. What I want to do is we want to talk about form in this one, okay? And you know what I'm talking about in terms of teams up and down, players up and down, all that kind of stuff. You always get peaks and troughs in the season. And it's a little bit like trading. Listen, I'm not a trader or anything. I'm not trying to sell anything, but it's finding that gap of opportunity and, in trading, investing. But essentially, we're kind of still doing it in FPL, aren't we? We're still investing in players at the right time. It's something I do with, like, So Rare. Look at injured players and when they're coming back to fitness, then invest in them. Then because, they're going to come back, and if they're a good player, they're going to play well. And that was something really we should have seen from the start. By the way, this is from 11ify. If you've not checked them out, go and check them out. Fantastic. I'm pretty sure everyone who watches this knows about 11ify, but the graphics and the data is fantastic. So make sure they check them out. They're in the link down here as well. But if we look at this, the overperformers, quite a big one, was Sunderland, then Palace, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Leeds, Brighton, Everton, Man United, Newcastle and Spurs. Those last three, they weren't really 0.92. It's not really... or even, kind of top 4 or 5, it wasn't really overperforming too much. But the Sunderland and the Palace, to a certain extent, was above what we thought. Now, was that sustainable? Maybe, maybe not. Sunderland, a little bit different, though. They've invested so much, essentially, that team that they thought had come up from the Championship has changed and altered. So they have sustained that. They have, and that's is why on the fixture decoder, which we do every week, check it out. We changed the color quite a long time ago. Me and Darius FBLD unit, we were chatting. We changed it. They weren't a green anymore. If anything, they were like a solid white. It was a hard fixture and a red for some teams. They sustained it. Palace as well. They sustained it for a while. But at some point they have to go down. Palace, listen, a draw against Brighton, is that down? No, it's not. But the same law still applies. Some of the teams that have overperformed will go down, and some of the teams that have underperformed will go up. And that leads me on to the next point. Look at the very bottom of that team. Who's at the very bottom of underperformers is Aston Villa. Now, at some point, they were going to come off the bottom because they were very, very bottom. You got Wolves, Burnley, Fulham, Leeds. So they were definitely going to come up at some stage. And for me and Kieran, we're chatting about it. That's we've seen a little good thing about Aston Villa, and we've seen that they were going to come up, and that was the window of opportunity. There's still opportunity to get their players, by the way. I'm not putting you off, not at all. But we thought, do you know what? It's about time to start playing well. And that team, how good they are with the players they are, the standard of player, especially like Ollie Watkins. I know he didn't score at the weekend. Morgan Rogers, fantastic player. At some point, they had to pick up form, and they did. Also next to them is Nottingham Forest. I've been big on Forest for pretty much since Sean Dyche took over and steadied the ship. They came in, they beat Porto in their first game, I think. Okay, they lost after that. But the draw against Man United, I'd say it was an even game. So 2-2 was probably fair. But listen, they could have won it. They could have won it. And that's what we kind of forgot a little bit. Forest got Europe last season. So they're still a good team. Now they've got a decent manager who steadied the ship. Whatever, regardless to think of Sean Dyche, he's a Premier League legend manager. He is. Legend's a bit harsh, but a fantastic manager. So yeah, they've got to be on our radar soon. Anderson, cheap. I think he's a mil cheap than Enzo. That will allow you to then get your Van Dijk if you want. Your Gabriel. I mean, everyone's got him. But your Senesi. There's that extra money. The ones above that is West Ham, Wolves, and Burnley. Okay, listen, we don't expect much for them. I don't expect that to change. Another one is City and Liverpool. And they will get their S together. Man City did. They're starting to turn the screw now. They're getting everything in. Do you know what I mean? They're starting to mould a little bit better and take the burden off of Haaland. And the same with Liverpool. That was just down to having too many players, trying to fit everyone in, which never works. It's kind of like a PSG model, isn't it? I think that's what Liverpool have become a little bit, a PSG model where they're trying to force everybody in, and it just doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? It just does not work. Harlan Boy, how you doing, big man? I'll star that, and we'll get to that shortly, mate. We'll get to that wee question. Any other questions you got? Put in the chat, and I'll get to them as soon as. But yeah, form-wise, so you want to kind of look at these. Look at these every week and just think, do you know, they've not been playing well, but they're due to play well. And a lot of it is down to fixtures. Some teams must have had a hard fixture run at the start. Aston Villa, I mean, it was average. They played below par, way, way below par. But there's always going to be peaks and troughs. And our job as FPL managers is to try and identify that and select from that team, who's going to score the most points. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. Just a little bit of an interest piece. It's something I do. Keep an eye on the teams that have been performing, who haven't been performing, and whose swing is about to change. Because, and I was talking to Alf, FPL Alf. If you're not followed him, go and follow him. Fantastic creator. He was saying, why are you looking at Aston Villa? Why are you looking at Rogers, Watkins? He's not done anything. And this, for me, is the point. I like to identify these individuals before they do anything. Now, arguably, 4-0 Villa, Morgan Rogers could have smashed it. Just one of those things. It was variance. But now everyone's looking at Villa. They're looking at Watkins. They're looking at Rogers. And that's where you're going to get your points. With that comes value as well. If you jump on players early, with that comes value. That's what I like to do, really. Not in any kind of label me for the office fans. But yeah, form-wise, that's, you've got to look at the teams and select from them. Right, anyway, let's game week 12. Let's talk about it. This is my bus team. And yeah, it looks okay. I've not made any changes. I've only got one change. I used 3 free transfers last week. I'm not averse to a -4, but let's see how I'm lining up. So I've got Petrovic and Senesi, a double backline against West Ham. Seems good. West Ham are starting a little bit of revival, so I'm a little bit worried about that. Munoz and Lacroix, Wolves away, locked. I know they've got another manager about to come in, and they'll get a bit of a bounce, but bit locked, all right? Munoz, especially, and Lacroix, he had a goal ruled out the other day, so they stay. Gabriel's got Tottenham. Be a tight game, maybe a 0-0, maybe a 1-0. He stays. Chalobah against Burnley. Chelsea are a little bit of a nightmare at the back sometimes. They overcommit, and actually, Chalobah overcommits as well quite often. He'll carry the ball into midfield, and they get caught out quite often. They were very lucky at the weekend not to concede, so I do have to keep a wee eye on that. In midfield, I've got Gakpo, Rogers, and Saka. Saka scored tonight for England again, so his form's coming up. If you don't have him, I'll be looking at getting him soon. Tottenham, tough game. But listen, this is the game. These are the games that the top players, a world-class player like Saka, could do something to win the game. And this is a point I raised the other day. If Arsenal are going to win the league, which I think they do, Saka has to play well. That's a fact. Arsenal will not win the league without Saka. They won't. So he has to start playing well. He has to start scoring goals. He has to start making assists. And it could be against Tottenham. Listen, Tottenham haven't been the best. More at home. They've got a decent away record, but they've not been scoring many goals. And Arsenal are so strong. So, yeah, I'm happy with Saka. Rodgers against Leeds. Beautiful. He's going nowhere. He could be an outside captaincy. I know that sounds a bit outrageous and Haaland and Tottenham, but actually thinking now, Rodgers v Leeds, he could be. Okay, Leeds are a little bit better at home, but there's been talk that Daniel Farke's about to walk. Well, not walk, he's about to get sacked. They've been conceding a lot of goals. Don't worry, Haaland boy, I will get to you, I promise. Gakpo against Forest. I don't like it. Liverpool assets this week. I don't. Forest. I know they're at home Anfield, but listen, Palace beat them. Oh, okay, they had a second-rate team, but still. And they're conceding goals. And that's why I don't like Virgil van Dijk, really. I don't. If you got him, you play him. Of course you do. But I don't like a transfer wasted for him. Up top, I've got João Pedro against Burnley. Of course, I'm going to play him. And it's good because a lot of people moved off them. He's still about 50% owned, though. So, it's quite big. And then Haaland, at the moment, he's got the cap on him. On the bench, Vicario, he's staying there. I'm not going to play with Petrovic. Eze, I think Eze scored tonight for England again. Reinders, which could come in. He could come in. And Mark Guay, he's going to sit on the bench. Unfortunately, listen, he might come on for 1 point, so I might put him to second on the bench. But yeah, he's not going to be doing too much. Yeah, sorry, Proj did say he would start Eze. He scored again tonight. And Eze, he got in some good positions again at the weekend for Arsenal, and he had a snapshot. I'd expect him to do better. So he is popping up. He is. So I think I keep him from now. I don't like playing 5 at the back. 5 got Kieran to what rank he is. So, we can't scoff at 5 at the back just now, but I do think we need to start playing 5 in midfield, and I always like to play 5 in mid. So Reinders should maybe go, and that's been one of my mistakes this season. I've held on to him too long. And I've been waiting. Easy fixture coming. So he could easily go to Elliot Anderson. In terms of other transfers, I'll wait till the international break till people come back, obviously. But yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. I'm also thinking. Geddy put Eze goal tonight. Played well. Proj said, lovely backline. Thank you, Proj. Some say I have a nice backline. Proj says Defcon Army 532. It is, mate. It is. Proj said here, Dyche has a lot more talent to work with than did at Everton. They seem to have responded quickly to Dyche coaching. Yeah, I think they have. Like some Morgan Gibbs White. I wanted to move last week or the week before, and yeah, I didn't. But in terms of other places to move, I've only got one. So it kind of, it's a good game week. I need to start building transfers up for my bench boost. So I'm going to start building them up. But actually thinking this now, put in the chat, guys and girls, as long with a like and sub, what do you think about Rodgers captain? And I know that seems outrageous, but Rodgers is a great player. Leeds are poor away. They are. That's the only move I'm thinking about making. My backline's going to stay. People are talking about getting rid of Senesi, but he's good at home. He is good at home. The other one really is Reinders. I think Reinders to Elliot Anderson would be good. Or I might take Gakpo and Reinders out. And yeah, I might go for a little bit of a punt instead of Reinders. I do like a little bit of a punt. In terms of who I'm going to go for, I don't know. You've got to wait till the international break. Do you know what I mean? You really, really do. As I'm kind of getting to the end now, put in your questions, guys and girls, and we'll answer them just before we go and we pop off. But yeah, that's the only thing that I'm thinking of putting in as I bring up the fixtures on my phone as well. Is I want a little bit of punt. I like a little bit of fun in there. Let's have a gander. Elliot Anderson, he's a shout. Is there any other shouts midfield-wise, chat? Put in there of what you think, who you think could be good. Sarr, I could move for Sarr because they've got Wolves. I kind of forgot about that. Paqueta, I'm staying away from. Paqueta, I'm not going there. Brighton have got Brentford, so I'm not really big on the... Obviously, Mitoma's out, but I'm not really big on on the Minty. I'm not. If you look at his ceiling, he's got like a 9-point ceiling. And listen, that's good. 9 points is good, but I like the bigger ones. Do you know what I mean? I like the bigger ones. Again, he said definitely go for Rogers caption. Reverse psychology, Geddy. I like it. I like it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Keep dropping your questions in, and we'll come up to them and we'll answer the remainder of them. I do like the Leeds Aston Villa. I mean, that might be a bit outrageous to go Rogers, but it's a game week to go against Haaland. We've discussed this. Elsewhere, there's no other midfielders I think that I want. If I have missed one, put one in, but I don't think there's some tough games. Maybe Buendia, like Kieran said, if you've not got. Um, Elsewhere, Arsenal, they've got Spurs, but I still play Eze. And I think that's the thing Geddy said. Would I play Eze over Gakpo? It is a possibility, and I think I probably would. They both got home fixtures, but Gakpo might not even start. He might not even start. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. But Geddy says, great shout, Captain. We'll see. We will see, mate. I mean, I just like the cut of the man's jib. He's nutmegging defenders for the crack. And Leeds could be a little bit on the ropes. Anyway, as we finish off, last 5 minutes, guys and girls, drop your questions in here below and I'll answer them before I let you get on and watch the international highlights. So, come on to this one. Eddie says, would you do -4 take out Tarkowski and Enzo to get in Van Dijk and Buemo in? I said to you before, Eddie, I don't like the Van Dijk. They're standard moves. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just my personal preference. On the forefront, they look good. For me, I wouldn't spend 6 mil on Van Dijk. But that's just me, mate. Harlem boy, I told you I'd get to you, and I'm getting to you. After break, he's got a dilemma. Let's help him, chat. He's got a dilemma. I've owned Gakpo for 4 weeks now, but I have Vicario v Arsenal this weekend. Liverpool have a fixture swing. I don't think I'll sell Gakpo this week. He started 9 out of 11 games. Yeah, I've got Gakpo this weekend, mate. I wouldn't. And he's actually one of the biggest goal threats. Even at the weekend. I know he didn't start, but when he came on, he still looked like the biggest goal threat. So, nah, I mean, I might bench him, but he's good to have off the bench. Especially right now, we don't know what Liverpool player is set or is the best choice. So just take your time. Just take your time with that. I wouldn't sell him either. He says, I made you sell Vicario this week down to Verbruggen. That gives me 0.9 in the bank. Funds to upgrade Isidore to Thiago. I'd be cautious with that one, mate. For me, Verbruggen, Brighton always concede. I know they drew 0-0 with Palace, but Palace were tired. They always concede, mate. Even at home, they always concede. So for me, I know why you wanted to go that. Well, actually, can you put in the chat, Harlan Boy? Is that because Solio said to maybe do that move? And this is something we have to do. Like, I know Solio and Review are decent. They're good tools to use. But going to Verbruggen, I think that's a strange move. And for me, I don't get it. They always concede, even to the lesser clubs. So, no, I would maybe look at a lesser keeper, mate. Even a cheaper keeper. Vicario's all right, mate. And listen, that Tottenham Arsenal game will be close. I would just play Vicario over Verbruggen. Because even if... Listen, here's a question for you. Chat. Who's got the best away record right now? Answer... Spurs, who are away to Arsenal, who haven't been conceding any goals, but they've not been scoring too many. They've not been like battering teams 4-5-0. So I would just play Vicario, mate. I don't know who your other keeper is, but I'd just play Vicario, keep that transfer for something else. Ireland Boy said, same one. He said, because Brighton have a fairly decent defence and they have decent games, they've got a right defence, mate, but they always concede. Genuinely, they always concede. If it was, I wouldn't do it. But that's just me. Keep putting the chats in there. Proj says, how do you rate Mbuemo as a captain option playing Everton at home? I like him, mate. I'm always worried about Bruno because he's got so many routes to points. And see if he even gets a glint of an assist. Bam. He's up there in the bonus because they rate chances created, which is absolute BS, by the way, because I could play 20 balls through, but what standard of chance is that? Is that a big chance or is that not? So I think it's a bit weighted towards him. And he does do a lot in the team, I get it. But, the other day he got an assist from a corner. Again, lucky. Which, hey, that's why you've got him in. He takes corners. But he was almost up in the bonus again. And it was 3-1. So Yeah, for me, I would probably go on Buemo and captain against Everton at home. I like it, mate. I like it. I feel like they drew a penalty as well. So, yeah, I like it, Proj. Big fan. Gary says Gakpo to Man United mid maybe and Buemo or Cunha. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I yeah. I mean, midfield is the most valuable assets we have. It's getting the most points, and it will get the most points. People are talking about a one up top, so that'll give us a 4-5-1. Or people have just been pivoting, double pivoting, to a 3-5-2. Haaland and people had Isidore or obviously Thiago, who's playing really, really well. And that seems to be the meta just now. Haaland and Thiago up top. He's playing well. Can he sustain it? I'm not too sure. But for the short term, absolutely. But yeah, midfield, he could change it. Gary says, I'm thinking Enzo out, Rogers in. Yeah, the good thing about Enzo, mate, he didn't go to the international because he was injured, he was recovering. So he will play. But they've got hard fixtures coming up. I think they've got Barca and they've got some hard games in the Champ League. So will they rest him? I don't think he will. He plays all the time. They've got Burnley. I think he could get a haul in that. Would I move from Enzo to Rogers? Got Leeds away. I'd probably stick. Even though I've got Rogers, mate, I'd probably stick, mate. Com says haggis, neeps, and tatties or Cullen skink. I'm more of a haggis, neeps, and tatties, mate. What are you, Com? What are you, my friend? Proj says totally agree. I wouldn't go Verbruggen. Yeah, so for Harlan boy, I wouldn't go, mate. He's always conceding. They're always conceding. Yeah, just another shout for the channel. Please like and sub. All right, because it helps us. It helps us find you. We chat about football. We chat about FPL. Everyone has a great time. And yeah, me and Kieran love doing the show. We love doing the channel, and it's going really, really well. It is. Now it's only going to get more. It's only going to get busier, and from that, people have got less time. They've got less time to look at things that me and Kieran look at. You know, best teams to go for, best players to go for. So do come along, do watch the Double Pivot Pod. Yeah, and it'd be fantastic. We'll have a great time. In terms of content, we have got, I've got a bit of a break for 3-4 days, and then we'll be back with team matchups next week. I will be doing some very, very special, and comms in the chat, I'll be doing some very, very skiing videos. Not running thoughts, it'll be skiing thoughts. So look out for that, it'll be really good. And we'll also be doing the FDR decoder where we look at the fixtures, we look at the teams that really we should be going for and those that we shouldn't be and what surprises are in there. Yeah, and hopefully, Proj, he says 1K subs by Christmas. I'd love it. Kevin Keegan, I'd love it if that happened. But listen, the best thing for me is if you enjoy it, please do give it a like, give it a sub, put in a comment down below what team you have, what players you're thinking of bringing in, and what moves you're thinking about making. But for the short term, thanks very much for joining me tonight. Go off and join the international break. Go and enjoy your break from FPL because it's going to get a whole of a lot busier soon. For now, thank you very much, guys and girls, and I'll see you later on. Bye-bye.